Congratulations, you're in your second trimester. So in this video, we're going to talk about 4 topics that you should research now and don't leave it to your 3rd trimester. I know you're probably thinking, I have plenty of time. What is the rush? Well, I'm going to go into the details of why you should do it now and not leave it until later. Hi, my name is Emma and I'm currently 27 weeks pregnant. And I'm also a prenatal yoga instructor. This channel is all about supporting other women through the various cycles of life, and right now I'm focused mostly on pregnancy. So if that all sounds good to you, then please do subscribe. So in this video, we're going to cover 4 topics that you should start researching. Those topics are birth, postpartum, sleep, and parenting styles. And for each one, I'm going to talk about why it's important to do it now rather than to wait, where to start doing your research and some resources, and also I'll touch on the conclusions that I've made, but that will be different for you. Birth is undoubtedly going to be on your mind. But why do you need to start researching now? Why not wait till the 3rd trimester, go to your prenatal classes and deal with it then? There are some very important reasons. First of which is if you go into the research and you figure out, okay, this is the kind of birth that I would like, and then you take that to your doctor, they might not be so supportive of your dream birth. Or maybe the hospital can't support your birth. Let me give you an example. Let's say that first of all you want to have a water birth. Maybe the hospital you're currently with doesn't have any water birthing pools, or maybe they have very few, so it's unlikely that you're going to get one. Or maybe you strongly feel that you don't want to be induced until absolutely medically necessary or beyond 42 weeks. And you bring this up with your doctor and they tell you, I routinely induce all my patients at 39 weeks. These things can happen. And if you leave it until the 3rd trimester, it might end up feeling too late to make a change, and it might end up feeling stressful. And we don't want to be stressed when we're in the 3rd trimester. We want to be chill and relaxed and ready to have a good birth. So this is the number 1 reason why I'd recommend doing the research now. Secondly, you might come across things that you need to prep for. You might realize that you want to have a doula attend your birth. If that's the case, doulas do have calendars and schedules, and often they might not be able to take you on. So you've got to find a doula that you like, and then you've got to make sure that she's actually available and free to commit to your birth. Or you might realize that you want to do hypnobirthing, and hypnobirthing is kind of based on listening to these audio tracks to reprogram your subconscious to reduce fear and anxiety. The earlier you can start that, the more effective that it's going to be. And finally, we want to be in the most relaxed, calm state as we go into birth. You might end up coming into labor prematurely by some weeks. You don't want to be sat researching tearing or episiotomies, which can be quite icky and feel tense and feel stressful just before you end up going into labor. Try and get all of that out the way, process it, understand these terms so that you can leave the 3rd trimester to being relaxed, positive affirmations, and going into birth with a positive mindset. So where do you start your research? You absolutely have to read Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. This is the Bible. It's a must. It's so good. It starts with positive birth stories from lots of different people, and then goes into the nitty-gritty of birth, what she calls the meat and potatoes, and yeah, it's just fantastic. So I really recommend that book. I'm going to do a book review of it if I haven't already published it by the time this video comes out, so do check that out. And if you are interested in hypnobirthing, I really enjoyed a book called Mindful Hypnobirthing, and it comes in an audiobook as well, which has lots of different exercises and tracks in the audiobook. So you listen to the book and then you have a little exercise. So it gives you a taste, and you can then download those audios, and you're pretty much set with that. I also did the course, Mindful Hypnobirthing course, and I really enjoyed that, and that just gives you more depth and more tracks. One thing to look out for with hypnobirthing is a lot of people who are teaching courses are not hypnotherapists. If you're going to do it properly and find a course that's run by an actual hypnotherapist. And also subscribe to this channel, because I'm just about to start a whole birth series about every little piece of birth, whether that's induction, C-section. I have a very analytical, data-driven husband, which is great. So he wasn't happy just for me to do it the natural hippie way. He wanted evidence of why that was the best way. So I have done a lot of research, and I'm going to make a whole birth series. So do subscribe and stay tuned for those videos to come out. So what are my takeaways from my birth research? Well, I found a doula, first of all. And through my doula, they recommended an amazing hospital and doctor who I'm so much happier with. And I made the change in my second trimester to that. And I read that, listened to that hypnobirthing book, did the course, and now I'm listening already to hypnobirthing tracks pretty much daily. So those are all really helpful things to kind of have done. So in my third trimester, I'm happy with my hospital, I'm happy with my doctor, I've got my doula, I know what I want to do for my birth, I'm doing my hypnobirthing, and I'm just keeping it positive, happy, etc. And I don't need to stress. On to the next section. Now we have postpartum. So a lot of people research a lot about the birth, and then suddenly you have a little tiny human, and you had a lot going on and you need to heal, and we didn't really get that far. So postpartum is pretty important. Why do you need to research this now in your second trimester? So this is a very intense time, both in the sense of an amazing time. You finally got your baby in your arms and so much love, but it's also sleep deprivation and a million different decisions and learning and newness. So it's best to prep ahead. And you might need to find some help for this time. That could be your mother, it could be a mother-in-law, it could be a friend or friends, or you might look into paid help. There's such thing as a postpartum doula, or you could find yourself a cleaner or a dog walker to support you. And they might need a bit of notice in order to set time aside to be there for you for your birth. And again, let's not forget, you could have your baby early, so it's good to have these conversations in the second trimester. Also, you need to think about time off. Do you need to take some extra time off work? Does your partner need to take extra time off work? You're going to need to talk to workplaces about these decisions. So I read this book, The First 40 Days, and I've really enjoyed it. It's kind of half a recipe book as well. It's kind of on the Chinese medicine side. You don't need to do everything in this book. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to make breaded pig kidneys. Not sure about that, but there are some really delicious recipes in there too. But more than that, it's about how to really prep ahead for that time and how to just view those days. I'll talk about my takeaways in a moment, but great book to read. Also, I'd recommend YouTube. There are loads of videos out there of a day with a newborn, for example, just to give you a taste of what are those first days or weeks like. And for me, it just hit home of like how intense it is. It's a lot of waking, a lot of breastfeeding if you're going to breastfeed. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So do yourself a favor and do some prep now. What are my main takeaways? So I first of all set expectations with my husband that I'm basically going to be a princess, or no, a queen, because we're going to have a new princess in the house soon. And I said I wasn't quite this demanding, but I'm not going to cook or clean or have dog responsibilities for the first month to 40 days. That's our expectation. If I do want to do those things earlier and I feel ready, then fantastic. But we should prep that those things I'm not going to be doing. I'm going to be spending my time bonding with my baby, establishing breastfeeding hopefully, and sleeping whenever possible. So in order to do that, we've decided to go with paid help. We have an amazing dog sitter who also does cleaning and stuff for us on occasion, so she's going to come and help us out every day. And I am starting now to prep my freezer and fill it up with meals and snacks, just like rich broths and soups and stews, ready for that postpartum time. Next up, we have sleep. So sleep is my biggest fear about having a baby. I'm one of those people who needs 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, and normally I'm pretty easygoing and happy and optimistic, but if I didn't get sleep, I'm pretty grumpy. So this is the thing that scares me most. Why do you need to research sleep in your second trimester? In your third trimester, you need to start making decisions such as, where is my baby going to sleep? In our room? In another room? In a bassinet? In a Moses basket? In a side crib that connects to the bed? In a floor bed? In your own bed? There's lots of different decisions you need to make, not only for your baby's sleep, but also for your sleep. Are both of you going to spend the whole night with the baby? Are you going to take shifts? Is one of you going to sleep somewhere else? So there's lots of decisions to be made around sleep, and then you need to make purchasing decisions in your third trimester and getting a nursery ready. So where do you start your research? Sleep is a super sensitive topic, and there are a million opinions out there. So try and get a varied range of opinions. You can use YouTube. I recommend checking SIDS guidelines. So SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome, which is the scariest thing of how to keep your baby safe. I also would really recommend Sweet Sleep by La Leche League, which is a breastfeeding organization. I'm listening to their audiobook at the moment. I haven't quite finished it, but that actually supports co-sleeping, which is a very sensitive topic because a lot of people just say absolutely not in any circumstance, whereas Sweet Sleep says if you follow these 7 rules, then it's just as safe, if not safer, than having your baby in a crib, and you as the mother get much more sleep, and so does your baby. So I'm currently listening to that. I'm gonna make a video about co-sleeping because it is such a sensitive topic. But basically just inform yourself, from as many sources as you can, and then you're going to just need to see what suits you. So what are my main takeaways? What I'm planning to do is sleep in the baby's nursery while my husband sleeps in our room, so that he can at least be rested and take over a bit during the day. Because I'm planning to breastfeed, which adds another complication, because your husband can't just take over for the whole night because they can't breastfeed. So my plan is to sleep in the nursery. My plan is to do a mixture of co-sleeping safely and having the baby sleep in a Moses basket right next to the bed. Parenting style. Again, this is something where there's so much variety and covers so many different topics. So why do you need to start researching now? Again, it's all about purchasing decisions. You don't want to go out and buy a ton of different, let's say, toys for your future baby, and then you read a book about Montessori and you're like, oh, Montessori is amazing, and Montessori, you only need very limited toys and activities for your baby, and they're quite specific. So you would have then wasted a lot of money on those toys. That's just one example. You don't want to buy pacifiers and swaddles if it turns out that you're not going to use them, and vice versa. So it's important to do that research now, and bear in mind that, okay, maybe you do a ton of research and come to conclusions. It's probably not just you who's going to be raising this baby. You most likely have a partner or close family who are going to be raising the baby with you, and maybe they don't agree with what you've decided on. So it does need a lot of thought and discussion. As for resources, the best thing you can do is read a variety of different books. For me, I already knew that I wanted to be more on like the Montessori, gentle parenting, nurturing side than maybe your average parent. That was a very strong feeling in me. So I really recommend Montessori Baby, The Nurture Revolution. And just an interesting one, this is going to seem like too much for most people, is Go Diaper Free, which talks about elimination communication, which is about effectively potty training from a newborn age. So yeah, these are some of the things that I looked into. But you can read like Happiest Baby on the Block is a very popular baby book, which conflicts a lot with Montessori style. So they recommend swaddling and pacifiers a lot, whereas Montessori doesn't. So try to get varied opinions and do as much research as you can, discuss with your partner, and come to your own conclusions. Everybody is different. So what are my main takeaways from parenting style? So Montessori style parenting is very much for me, so I'm already starting to prep Montessori activities for my baby, creating these little mobiles that will hang. Then I definitely want to do a lot of baby wearing. So I've looking into the best carriers and making sure I have them on hand. I want to try and do reusable diapers for sustainability. Try elimination communication from birth, which I touched on. And what else? No swaddles, so restrictive free clothing, which also means always having hands and feet free and not in mittens and not in footy onesies. And no pacifier. So these were all some maybe slightly controversial decisions that I came to for parenting style. But yeah, you want to do your own research. So there you have it, and I know this might feel really overwhelming, and that is not my intention at all, but if you're limited on time, start with birth and then make your way down through that list. and just take it a step at a time. And it should be in some way fun. And if you don't have the time to read a ton of books, I'm doing a lot of book reviews. So I've already published one and I have a bunch more coming out. So pretty much all the books that I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a review on in a short YouTube video. So that will save you the time of reading an entire book. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see those. And if there's a topic that's super confusing you already started some research, you're like, I just don't get this, or I don't know if I should do this or this, please pop it in the comments. I would love to know, and I'd love to dive into that topic myself and create a video about it. So do pop that in the comments. And thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you here again soon. Lots of love to you and your baby, and I hope your pregnancy progresses well. See you again soon.